Championship season is finally upon us, and once again we get set to kick off a new chase for the cup here on Monday night. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the High Tide Racing League Premier Series and to Green Flag TV. My name is Nola Rempel alongside James Newton. We are bringing you all of racing action from start to finish from tonight's 150 some odd lap race here around the Magic Mile. James, we go racing once again in Loudoun, New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, to kick off round number 1 of the chase for the cup, where 12 drivers will get set to see who can get the drop on the field early on in this last 5-race sprint for the championship.
Yeah, it's definitely coming down to the wire as we're here. The chase is finally upon us here for the HTRL. As we have a look at the schedule upcoming, this is it. The 5 rounds will be deciding these 12 drivers. We'll be whittling them down as we go. But as you said, about 150 laps around this very, very flat Magic Mile of New Hampshire. And this is going to be where a couple of drivers are not going to be able to make it past this point, though they have fought so hard to be here.
Here are your championship contenders entering today. Jaden Hobb, understandably the favorite to win this one. 2,055 points now, top end of the boards. However, he had a near 200-point advantage over the field coming into the chase. That has been whittled down now to just 5 from him back to Wesley Triplett. And you descend back from there all the way to Sean Williams, 55 points off of the mark. So while Jaden Hobb is by no means secure with that points lead, he is still entering here. The odds-on favorite to win this season, especially with the tear he has gone on. Out of the 15 starts he's had so far, he has won 7 of those 15 races and failed to finish outside of the top 10 only twice, and outside of the top 5 only 4 times this season.
Yeah, it's been incredibly basically momentum-based. A lot of drivers having very, very good runs and seemingly able to carry that from session to session. Other drivers with a big advantage early on, as we saw Jaden Hobb not having the best of runs the last couple of rounds, considering how well they did earlier on in the season. So we'll have to see which way it swings for which driver.
Well, of course, take a look at what things are looking like down there at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the moment as we get set to go racing for the first race of the chase for the cup. The Magic Mile has been around since the 90s, and to this day remains one of the more unique tracks in the NASCAR calendar. A very flat track a la Martinsville. However, double in length and with only about a degree or so of extra banking as well, 2 to 7 degrees banking here around New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That makes this track one where it's a much more momentum-based than normal, and as we saw in series like the Speed Cup Series just this past Thursday, tire wear can be a huge factor at places like this.
Absolutely, and again, with conditions over 100 degrees on the track, relatively nice in the air, but the track's what the drivers are going to be caring about the most and trying to protect that right front. There's not a lot of banking to help out if you're trying to go to the high side. And again, as you said, very apt description. Just a very large Martinsville, but increasing the size means you're going to be plowing into turns 1 and 3 with a lot more speed. That means drivers are going to be harder on the brakes potentially and could either open you up down the inside of turns 1 and 3, or it could leave you vulnerable off of the corners of 2 and 4.
Of course, this is one of those racetracks that's got a bit of a history here when it comes to the High Tide Racing League. They have not run this venue every season. Only two prior starts for the league at this venue. Of course, one of those winners, Michael Thorpe Jr., took the win the last time we were out here, with Austin McGill taking the win the first time through. McGill not in the field. Thorpe very much is, as he is one of your 12 chase contenders here this afternoon. So look out for Michael Thorpe Jr. to potentially be a bit of a threat. He is one driver that knows how to get the job done here at the Magic Mile. 30 seconds to go. James, as we enter the championship season, are you keeping tabs on anybody in particular here to be a dark horse?
Well, I was going to say dark horse. I think the 34 of Michael Thorpe Jr. will probably be the best looking driver at the, basically kind of right at the sharp end of this field. Having a look at the 12 protagonists, if you will. I know that Ty Marasco in the 1 has looked quite strong. Hasn't quite had the races to kind of show the amount of pace that that 1 truck has had. I think that Marasco, especially around the track like this, is going to be one to watch today.
Let's take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like as we will roll straight into the race from here. Starting things off, it is going to be Aiden Lucas, who will start this race from pole alongside chase contender Wesley Tripp of Dummy Racing, half a tenth off the mark on the front row of the grid. Row 2 on the field, you got yourself Michael Thorpe Jr., past winner here. Last time we raced here, he's alongside his fellow champion contender Brandon Bogaski. Row number 3, Kevin Foster is alongside championship contender Benjamin Lacey. With row number 4 holding Caleb McKinney, he is beside Caden Gargiulo. Top half of the field then closed out this afternoon by Brian Dees and Brandon Edgington.
11th sees the 81 of Dustin Ping alongside the number 1 of Ty Marasco, championship hopeful. Jaden Browder in the 5 alongside the other Dummy Racing, or one of the 3. Dummy Racing's number 47, Wesley Peebles, lines up 14th. 15th goes the way of the 00 of Jaden Hopp. Our championship points leader going into the chase, Sean Williams, another championship contender in the 89, lines up 16th. 17th goes the way of Nicholas Caressel, another championship hopeful. And Austin McGill, also a championship hopeful in that Rockstar 48, lining up 18th position. Robert Lukens in the 33 alongside Paul Southmary in the 24 for Guardian. And Hayo Venkaman in the 14 will line up 21st.
So the field is set and ready to rumble. 150 laps kicking off. Drivers will be highlighted in blue if they are racing for a championship on your timing towers. We are just about ready to get this show on the road. And what an afternoon it is anticipated to be. Going to be a fun afternoon of racing. So we'll make our way into turn numbers 3 and 4. Happy that you all are joining us for racing action here on Monday night as a new chapter in the championship hunt gets set to kick off for the 6th season of the High Tide Racing League. Coming out at turn numbers 3 and 4, Pace Truck will make its dive into pit road. And as we make our way down the front straight of the Magic Mile, the championship hunt is officially underway. Well, Michael Thorpe Jr. wasted absolutely no time in trying to get a drive down the inside of 3 wide, and that turn 1 didn't go his way. He'll tuck back in line instead and now is fighting to retain the podium positions. Triplett is clear into turn 1.
Triplett looking quite good in that exchange. Very, very busy first lap as they're forced to go 3 wide. The 34 taking a very, very aggressive and tight run out of the second corner. And still side by side and going all the way down to the apron, which doesn't really unsettle the truck too much considering there's only about 6 or 7 degrees of banking, and trying to put the power down is the 34. And it's a drag race between Bogaski and Thorpe Jr.
So far, everyone playing nice as we make our way out of turn numbers 1 and 2. Still have Wesley Triplett leading the way. Drivers getting single filed out pretty quickly up at the head of the field. Gotta wonder how much tire wear is going to be a factor here. In the Cup cars, when they were coming out here, we had drivers running the tires almost down to the rim after only 40 laps of running. And that could be a big thing that drivers are looking at all throughout the night.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, in order to try to preserve those tires, you just have to flat out drive slower. It's not what these drivers are doing. Ty Marasco on the high side next to Brian Dees, and they're looking at around 9th position. So battle for 10th is fully on. Handful of drivers going side by side in the early stages. This is not tire saving at all. This is brawling.
Yeah, no kidding. Brian Dees not wanting to let Ty Marasco get too much of a run up on the high side of the racetrack. Marasco, Dees, as well as Morgan to clap the wall. And in the midst of all of them, Jaden Hobb already up 3, trying to go on more. Ty Marasco will chop his nose of the Arizona Native down in the turn number 1. So Hobb still mired back in the midfield for the time being, but he's got a way of finding his way to the front. And he's a championship hopeful for a reason, looking to be the first driver to not just be a repeat champion, but also a 3-time champion. And all 3 will be coming in back to back to back.
Jaden Hobb, even in this traffic, not being able to track out side by side, still running 30.5s, which is about as good as anyone else on the track. Only 18 Lucas in the 69 up at the front is running anything quicker, and that's because they've got plenty of free air, about 0.3 of a second. As you said, Jaden Hobb really able to sight their way through the field, kind of taking their time and hitting those opportunities. Look at this opportunity around the outside, potentially for the 00.
Dustin Ping, champion from season 2, not in the title fight in this season, unfortunately. Right now, Pingmeyer just outside the top 10, trying to find an improvement. Hobb still trying to make his way around the high side. Front end of this pack, Jaden Gargiulo trying to fend off an assault from the outside. That's Caleb McKinney, who will get around him. McKinney now up to 7th. And James Brian Dees trying to work the high lane as well. And again, much like we're seeing from the Cup race here, this track right now not favoring the inside line at all.
Yeah, no, drivers are able to really send it around the outside and kind of hang in. They're getting really good runs, and it really just shows you how much speed driver has. Dustin Ping way down the inside. How does the 81 fare? Down low, 3 wide. Jaden Hobb doesn't dare make it 4. Coming off the corner, so now Jaden's part of the 3 wide. Marasco kind of ping-ponging back and forth, and Ping loses it out.
But you saw, I mean, Ping with an aggressive send of the inside of 3 wide, but look at how little he gained. In fact, he's actually now at a net loss because of that move. Ty Marasco squirrely out of turn 2. He's going to drop back, and Jaden Browder now going to try to take advantage of Marasco's loose moment. He's going to go down the inside of the 1 and the 81. Back into turn 3 this time. So Marasco up to the top shelf, able to drag around him.
See if Ping can try to do the outside line. Are they going to try to go around the outside of 1? No, they're going to go right into the back of the 1. Ty Marasco able to keep it out of the wall. Not quite. That was our first spicy moment of the race. And that was quite a close one. Able to hang on to that as the 1.
Brian Dees trying to hunt for the inside of the Overton's 76 of Caleb McKinney. Championship contender, that number 76, trying to hang on. As well as the blue on the tower, you can also identify chase contenders by the green on their windshield banners and the rear spoilers off of these trucks. Everyone else running the more traditional orange for the High Tide Racing League colors. McKinney still holding on around the top side. McKinney, of course, a race winner from earlier this season. And Brian Dees not able to mount a successful attack.
Yeah, Brian Dees in ninth position. Basically, first through ninth are where they started, apart from AD Lucas losing that spot right at the beginning to Wesley Triplett. So drivers in the top 10. Jaden Hopp up 5 spots, one of the biggest movers on the track. Is everybody fairly clean through this first section of the race? And I think that a lot of these drivers are going to start slowly trying to increase that amount of risk. We've seen a couple of sends up the inside, but in terms of swirliness out of the corner, I don't think anybody's really been lighting those rears up, but that's going to change with laps.
Austin McGill, the other driver that has taken a win before the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Contact there with Brandon Edgington. McGill, for a past race winner, not having a good day at the office all the way back in 16th up to, yes, but this is not the race-winning speed that you'd expect from a driver that's clinched a victory at this track before. Now, that said, every season, the High Tide Racing League has run different vehicles, and for McGill, it just seems like the truck has not agreed with him all season long. That's been the case with a lot of drivers on the championship. You got to handle the truck so much differently in comparison to just about everybody else. Look at Browder sliding up across the nose of Brian Dees.
What an absolutely lovely move from the 5, and Dees may get their left pocket picked as well. Ping trying to fall back in line as we ride on board with the 81. We see just how far out we go. A little bit of an over-under. Browder in the way a bit. What kind of run can we get on board? And the answer is not a good one, as the rears, I was just talking about that, hadn't seen too many moments like that. There's not a lot of banking to help out. So you really, it's basically just kind of a regular corner when it comes to, almost like a road course, when it comes to getting off of 2 and 4. And they're still so close together. The level at which these drivers can get so close and run together without any kinds of meaningful contact is just so impressive at the High Tide Racing League.
It's one of those championships, right, where it doesn't matter where you go, they're going to put on a show for you, whether you like it or not. Gargiulo still holding on from Browder. As Browder trying to hunt to the inside. Dustin Ping again throws her down the bottom lane of Brian Dees, and contact there sends Browder scrambling almost down to the apron. He's going to quickly tuck in line. Dees left him a hole.
Close call there for the 5 that has looked pretty confident. Made some pretty serious moves around the outside, sliding up the inside. They're kind of ticking the boxes here, Nolan. They seem to be kind of doing all of the, I guess we're waiting for, what are you looking for? A switchback, one underneath the apron, and trying to think of a couple other maneuvers that 5 can tick off, but we're only on lap 17, as Jaden Hopp now trying to have a look down the inside. That's Kevin Foster in the 8.
Now Jaden Hopp, one of the few drivers that has been able to make that inside lane work, seemingly out of sheer spite, as Hopp now works his way into 6th. Now about 0.8 of a second up the road, Benjamin Lacey. That would get him back in to the top 5. Check it back in up at the head of the field. Wesley Triplett continuing to lead the way from Adian Lucas and Michael Thorpe Jr. And while Lucas has been maintaining even with Triplett, he has not gone for the attack. So I think Lucas is just biding his time and seeing if he can't follow the line that Triplett's running to save some tires.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think Thorpe Jr.'s also adopted that same strategy as we see Triplett diving down the inside. We saw Jaden Hopp running a very similar line, cutting down into 1 very, very early, going well below the apron, and then basically sliding it out into the middle of the corner and then gathering it all back for a decent run out of 2. And 3 and 4, a little bit more of a traditional line for Triplett, as the top 3 are still kind of hanging around about where they were. Michael Thorpe Jr. about twice as far back from Triplett as Lucas is at the moment, as again we pick up with Browder.
Yeah, Browder, McKinney all still running 8th and 9th, as Browder will look to the inside. Jaden Browder will bring the Mobile 1 Toyota Tundra down the inside and pick off the Silverado of McKinney. So, look out up the road. Kevin Foster having a wild moment coming out of turn number 3.
able to gather it up, but that was kind of a strange one. That was probably maybe not as bad off board as it might have been on. As yeah, here comes the 5. I obviously saw that move right up in front, may have given him a little bit of a scare, thinking that something more might be on the way, and I think they might smell a bit of blood. At least Browder does. 5 trying to have a look at the back of the 7th place driver.
And he's trying for the inside. So far, no dice. He'll, again, cut back down low. He's got the run this time as Foster too wide out of turn 2. Has to lift to avoid going into the wall. Jaden Browder will take over the number 8 spot. Right behind them, Caleb McKinney just barely able to fend off another attack from Caden Gargiulo.
Yeah, the 76 has, I don't believe they've really been down the inside that much unless you count turn 1 with using that very shallow entry point. See how early the 76 pulls in this time. The answer is not at all. Almost 3 lanes up, trying to fend off Gargiulo potentially.
Well, he's running the defensive line.
Yeah, trying to kind of soak up that pressure a little bit.
On board with Benjamin Lacey to his outside. He's got Brandon Bogaski, and right behind him, one Jaden Hobb trying to find an opening here as you look out of the passenger side window. Lacey trying to take that spot away. Take it away he shall. So now it's all eyes up front as he tries to chase down Michael Thorpe Jr., as well as that lap car of Wesley Peebles, who is in the way. Jaden Hobb was able to follow Benjamin Lacey through down the inside of Bogaski.
Yeah, these gaps look like they're kind of coming back towards each other, so it's only about 2 seconds between the top 4. A little over 2 seconds back to 5th and Jaden Hobb. They're kind of lining up, and as you said, Bogaski involved as well, so the top 6. Now 2.2 seconds is the gap to the top. As we see Brian Dees around the outside. And what they can do against Austin McGill, who, as you said, not having the best of days considering the way that they've been able to run that Ram earlier on in the season.
Brian Dees charging around the outside. He's not going to get the run going. So Austin McGill tucks it back in line, safe and sound, right in front of them. Caden Gargiulo wanting to make McKinney feel a little bit more unsafe. You saw him make the peak. McKinney was able to cover him off. And Gargiulo will look to charge back. Dustin Pink getting a little crossed up. So was McKinney that time through. They're so far able to hold him, but you can tell it's getting a little bit more dicey out there as the tires start to grind down.
Yeah, drivers kind of being forced to show. Oh my goodness, there's some rear action. The 76. What does Gargiulo think down the inside? It might be too good of a chance. And slides it way up. I don't think there's any contact, but it was absolutely close. There's still maybe on the exit of 2. And the exit of 2, Nolan, is what we've been seeing. The drivers getting kind of loose. They are still side by side. This is getting very close.
2 drivers that are fighting for playoff point or chase points, remember. Trying to see if they can't get a run going. Gargiulo's able to clear around the outside just like that. He is through. Right behind them, McGill gets around Dustin Ping as well. Further to the front, the battle still on for the number 2 spot as Benjamin Lacey will get around Michael Thorpe Jr. Thorpe going to be under fire from Jaden Hobb before too much longer. And Adian Lucas looks like might be in trouble as look at how quickly these guys are running them down. Lacey's going to look to the inside. They're trying to challenge for the 2nd spot.
Lacey trying to straddle the apron and looks really comfy in that 7. It obviously has been pulling back a little bit and is now trying to deploy any tire offset that the 7 may have. And looks like Michael Thorpe Jr. may be trying to pull the pin as well. The 34 has made good inroads on Adian Lucas. Very, very high water line, and it looks like the 69 might be fading just a little bit. And of course, drivers not fighting too hard, as we still have an enormous amount of the race to go. Trying to settle into at least the top section. It's a big old slide. Look at this. Jaden Hobb, 2 for 1.
Trying for it. Not going to get there, though. Forced it back out, but he wanted it. not able to get there. Thorpe was able to just barely keep that inside lane covered, although he washed up a good ways up the racetrack. Thorpe's getting a bit desperate here. He's going to get around Lucas. Now he's got a bit of a buffer between himself and Jaden Hall. Now we'll see if he can try to drive away. Lucas looking back to the inside, and he won't be able to get to the inside. Who will get to Lucas's inside? That 00 on the hunt for another podium.
Fascinated by this battle. Jaden Hopp coming up against Michael Thorpe Jr. already to the door. What does the 34 do in defense of this? The 00 are going to go way down underneath the apron. Yes, they do. And look how narrow the 34 goes, trying to pinch him to the inside. Maybe a bit of contact, a little bit of a lean. And they're still side by side. Thorpe Jr. is going to come back across the line.
Already a fifth of the way through this race as Jaden Hopp will get clear for the number 3 spot. So all's well ends well in that little scrap. Further behind, Gargiulo under fire, and look at the truck starting to pack up behind him. It's getting dicey here for about 8th place. Gargiulo, the cork of the bottle, he's crossed up back straightaway, trying to pedal it and scramble. Everyone else scrambling to get around him as well. We're able to hold it, but only just.
Oh, they're still so close. Dustin Ping sending it well up the inside, and that was a truck that would not stop turning left. The 25 really had to get their elbows out. As now we're almost 3 wide. Ty Marasco's down low. Yes, they are.
Marasco being patient. He'll maintain his momentum on the inside. Showing that some drivers' tires like Gargiulo and Adrian Lucas, they might be starting to wear down a bit more. Not too much time left before that pit stop window will open. Into the wall again for Gargiulo, and he's caught in the wall this time. And that'll be a costly error for the 25.
Yeah, it seems like every single corner there's some kind of challenge that the 25's having to go through. And now there was Brian Dees down the inside. As Dees in the 17 with the rears sliding around a little bit. The 19 of Brandon Edgington in 16th kind of having a bit of a loose moment. And now we have another Silverado. At the 33, Robert Lukens, I believe. Yes, it is getting a little bit squirrely in that Oakwood Holmes dark blue machine.
Showing
Ty Marasco still trying to chase down the 81.
Showing that no matter where you look, there's something going on here. Nicholas Caressel, meanwhile, racing to keep Brandon Edgington behind. Right now, Caressel, the last running chase contending car in this field. So he'll make that momentum run, make it stick. Meanwhile, Brian Dees going around the outside of Kevin Foster. And Dees should be able to secure the run, and security will. He is up to 12 if he can hold it in 1 and 2.
Good deep move there from Kevin Foster. He's not going to get the run off the corner. As the 17 goes squirrely again, perfectly measured. And now can the 17 clear? Nope, not quite. Slimmest of margins, and man, Kevin Foster went way down low. Not going to be able to get the clear themselves. Gargiulo trying to make it a race in the back, is making it a race in the back. 17 surges forward once again, and once again can't get it done.
The inside lane can be good for defense, but so can the outside. You just got to know how to run it. And what Foster's doing, he's utilizing that apron to try to help him get a bit of extra rotation through the back end. And that has been working to keep Brian Dees behind him, but it's finally going to, he's finally going to lose out here as Dees is able to get clear around the outside, and Gargiulo will be caught right at the rear end of the field. Gargiulo slipping up from the bottom lane, and he's able to get clear of the number 8.
Yeah, Foster and Dees having the same moment out of 2, both getting a little bit squirrely, but it hurt the 8 more as other drivers getting involved. Meanwhile, having a look at Dean Lucas, who is in 5th position. Brandon Bogaski in the 44 dummy racing machine trying to go down the inside. Bogaski, one of the 12 going for the chase. This is really tight stuff out of 2. Both drivers a bit squirrely. They're right on the edge.
Bogaski screaming back to the inside line as he wants to see if he can't secure the move here. Coming around turn numbers 3 and 4. Still have Bogaski outside line, and it will remain Bogaski's run to the bottom lane. He is through.
Good moves there. Now, does AD and Lucas have anything down the inside? Look, they're going to be looking for it. They have a bit of overspeed, and no, the 44 are going to try to shut that down. Both drivers well to the bottom. I think that Lucas is still going to be cleared. Yes, they are by the slimmest of margins.
Paul Satmary has had a moment. We'll look at that in just a little second here, as you've got Benjamin Lacey being putting Wesley Triplett under fire. So a big battle started to develop for the race lead of this one. Lacey maintained his run, trying to find a hole. He wants to get a buffer between himself and Jaden Hopp. So far unsuccessful, but you know that he is looking to get a little bit closer here. And Triplett, he's led the race since lap number 1, but that streak looking like it might be coming to an end.
74 still running that very aggressive line, that extremely early turn in for 1, and is still able to hold it pretty low out of 2, which we've seen a lot of drivers. Look at Lacey.
Caution!
Really digging down low. Oh, right at the moment. Dustin Ping.
Yeah, Dustin Ping having a moment up there, so he's going to go around. This is what happened to Paul Satmar earlier today. Oh, he caught Robert Lukens, put Lukens up into the outside wall, and then lost it himself in turn number 2. Now, this was not a caution flag. What was a caution flag was Dustin Ping 3 laps later having his own spin in turn 2.
See here, going down low, obviously well under the apron. We're out of the grass. We're up over the apron. We're moving up toward the 47, and we kind of have our rear end right in front. As Wesley Peebles.
Well, when you're going to chuck it down the inside like that, you got to be ready to get your clock cleaned a little bit, and that sure happened there for Dustin Ping as right reared into the outside wall. All things considered, that could have been a worse impact. Here's the interesting thing, is we are now under yellow flag pit stops. Ty Marasco has stayed out on 44 lap old tires. Everyone else is in.
Yeah. Oh, Caden Gargiulo as well. So same call for the 25, who, if I'm being completely honest, I think the 25 might have been one of the drivers that could have benefited from some new tires, considering that 25 seemed like it was kind of a handful. That's a very interesting call from Caden Gargiulo. I'm interested to see how that plays out.
They're probably trying to see
obviously everybody else in behind is going to be having fresh tires all the way down to at least Caleb McKinney.
They're probably seeing if they can't make it and cut out a pit stop run for these guys, because I don't know if these guys will have the distance to go on these sets of tires. So they're taking the gamble that the rest of the field still has a 2-stopper left in them. Would be pretty wild.
Yeah, I think if your outlook is going to be, trying to hold on to the, to the lead of the race, or, kind of fighting at the front, I think that the drivers on better tires, especially around a track like this, it's really going to be much easier for the drivers on brand new tires to be just basically kind of driving around you. So I guess what you're saying is just trying to go as deep into the run as possible and kind of hope for something else to happen and then try to cut that stop out. So alternate strategy. I think the main thing will just be trying to clear these 2 trucks as quickly as efficiently as possible, I should say, for the likes of Lacey, Triplett, and Thorpe.
We're looking to come around turn numbers 3 and 4 this time by. We will take 1 lap to go. Lap 46 of 150 here on the day. And look at how many of our chase contenders are lined up on that outside groove.
That's a lot of green. That is a lot of green, Nolan. Because we're about to get the green next time by. 18 Lucas in the 69. I wonder if there's anything. The 69 looked quite good, sitting in second position, and then it seemed to kind of fade as the others surged forward. Benjamin Lacey, of note, one of the drivers able to get around 18 Lucas. I wonder if they'll kind of swap up the way that they're driving, if they'll be using a bit of a different line, if they'll either conform or try something interesting. I'll be interested to see. I don't think that went the way that Lucas wanted it to, and I think they'll be trying something else.
Just over 100 laps still to go in the opening race of the chase. Green flag is in the air. We are back underway at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 3 wide already. Tom Marasco getting away well, but he is bound to get sworn. They're off the jump. Sure enough, Wesley Triplett already to the inside. Katie Gargiulo fading fast as well as they hit the back straightaway. 3 by 3 wide all the way down the order, and Lacey will actually attack for the lead around the outside as Triplett wasn't able to capitalize.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get to the inside so that nobody washes it into them. Oh, is 18 Lucas around?
Well, you were talking about the potential that he could have a good run. Evidently not, as he is going to drop to the tail end. Caution is out again, but again, all things considered, that could have been a much larger incident than it ended up being.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a big shame for the 69, who's going to have a lot more ground to make up, trying to go the other way. Down the inside is the 76, Caleb McKinney. Having a look. Looks like we're going to be heading up top. Gargiulo a bit slow. Left side of the screen. Oh, there we go. The surge from the 76 up into the right rear quarter panel.
Brian Dees will catch a small piece of the nose. Everyone else, though, avoids. And Gargiulo only slightly worse for wear off of this one. Still a long way to go in racing action here tonight. When we return, it is going to be more racing action on Green Flag TV. You are watching round 1 of the chase of the High Tide Racing League Premier Series on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where racing action is set to return at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. My name is Nolan Remble alongside James Newton. You're watching the first race in the chase for the Cup for the High Tide Racing League in their 6th season of competition. 2 cautions coming out back-to-back after going almost 50 laps green as we are set to return to Green Flag action here tonight. James, a thrilling opening half with a lot of tire wear being the main focus. I don't think we're going to be getting any different here throughout the second half either.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Nolan. As the pace truck pulls off, Benjamin Lacey with a sweeping move around the outside to take the lead and now gets a fresh restart.
Green flag back in the air, top 4, all chase contenders. In fact, really, everybody in the top 9 all chase contenders. Only Jaden Browder split up. Made that now the entirety of the top 10, save for Browder, are fighting for the championship. Benjamin Lacey clears out of turn number 2. And they remain 3 wide down the back straightaway. Browder trying to have a look to the bottom lane, but that's hard to do when you're flashing out like that. He's having to take to the apron to avoid getting run over. And Browder's got to get out of here. Like this,
yeah,
he can't be doing that when you're blinking that much.
It can be so difficult to lose where the truck is, and again, with how close we've seen the drivers as the 74 Wesley Triplet in a bit of a pickle. Jaden Hopp looking quite strong on the outside. Thorpe Jr. trying to hang it on. And that high side has been looking very, very strong, and Triplet trying to make it work. Lacey has all the freedom in the world. Hopp still around the outside. Triplet will not let it go, of course. Maybe all she wrote for the 74, and now Hopp going for the lead.
Jaden Hopp down the inside. Benjamin Lacey trying to cross him over, wanting to attack back down low. May have let him have it and hoped that he would sail up the racetrack. That didn't happen, though. Hopp was able to diamond that line perfectly, so he is going to take off now with the lead of the race. Michael Thorpe Jr. still trying to power through the third, and I have a feeling like this race is now Hopp's to lose now that he's out in front. Less than 100 laps to go.
Yeah, gonna have some clean track for the 00, running some very, very good laps, and also able to make up lots of positions. Michael Thorpe Jr. very wide on Wesley Triplet, trying to get the nose of that 34 machine in there, and kind of squirrely, the 34 really on the edge.
Wesley Triplet still fighting with Benjamin Lacey through the inside groove. The laps continue to tick away with Triplet down low, Lacey up high, and Michael Thorpe Jr. wanting to maintain that momentum as he'll cruise all the way to the bottom stretch here. Bogaski trying to chop in here with Nicholas Caressel on his inside. Caressel's not going to let him get it in.
Yeah, both chase contenders, both F-150s, both going for it. 44 and the 40. Trying to have a look. You see the front end of the trucks almost striking the ground as they hit the brakes. And what we described earlier on, Nolan, as the larger version of Martinsville. And it looks like these trucks really are having to get on the binders to try and make sure that they are nice and settled through the mid corner, trying to roll on the speed out of 4. Looks like the 44 Bogaski's has a bit of an issue, and that's going to be the 40 of Caressel trying to have a look down the inside. 44 able to clear before the big corner.
Thorpe Jr. still holding on around the outside line, while Jaden Browder, looking like connection issues have stabilized for the time being. He's going to still hunt the bottom. But much like we saw in the early going of this race, at least this early, that inside line has no momentum underneath it. And so he's going to end up doing nothing but letting Thorpe through and washing up into the gap between Thorpe and Austin McGill. And that wash-up allows for McGill to now get the drive that he needs out of turn 2 to try to attack back down the inside of 3.
Yeah, the 48 having a much better run, very close to the back of Browder. The 34 of Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to have a look. So now he went from 2 wide for 4th to 2 wide for 2nd. Apologies for 3rd. Jaden Hopp has 1.2 seconds out in front. And Triplet now trying to come back down the inside. So it's do-si-do through 1 and 2. And you said about the inside, Nolan, I'm pretty impressed with Benjamin Lacey around the outside for the lead of the race from, I believe it was 3rd or 4th, and able to get all the way to the high side and sweep around everybody. As long as there are no incidents, as long as nobody washes up down low, that was the most the most spots that anybody made up on that restart. So really good spot for Lacey. Lost a spot to Jaden Hopp in the longer stretch, but number 7 looking very, very strong in 2nd.
Oh, Browder really pinched in Austin McGill. Thought for a moment he might get turned across the nose like we saw happen to Adrian Lucas earlier tonight. But Browder able to at least hold this one even. Austin McGill waiting in the wings with the number 48. started to drop anchor just a touch. Little is by them, Adrian Lucas, after starting this race in the 7th place spot, continuing to drop down the order. He's now struggling to work his way back towards the top 10.
He's got McKinney and Foster all over the rear. If they keep battling, they might give the 69 a bit of a break, but oh my goodness, a little bit of a half look. With those Robert Lukens, who goes way up the track. A little bit of a shimmy right in the braking zone. It's never something you want to be doing, turning the wheel and braking if you can help it. Drivers just trying to find their groove. Let's see what they can do. Again, we talked about the right front and how important it is to be trying to take care of that. And it seems like whenever you get into one of these long runs, which is what we're experiencing right now, the first 3, 4, 5 laps that you put on the tires, the rest of the run kind of seems to go that way. Crowder trying to have a look down into 3. It's just kind of a half look. Yeah, not quite there.
Not quite there, but there's progress being made. Speaking of progress, Robert Lukens up 6 spots on the day, trying to make it 7 spots up on the day. He looks to go into the 12th place spot. Puts Caleb McKinney down another one. Oh, he tried to look low, but McKinney's still on the inside, and that forces Lukens wide into turn 1.
They got boxed in. Adrian Lukens really close to getting that left rear into the side of the 76. They're still really, really close. 76 coming back on the straightaway despite being down low. That's a really good look for McKinney. Lucas will still be there on the exit. Good amount of margin being left by the drivers. Lukens again kind of boxed in.
Oh boy, as Caleb McKinney washed over the inside, he's going to get into Adrian Lucas. And again, Lucas nearly getting turned for the 2nd time this afternoon. The Lucas iRacing entry having a rough time of it as he tries to maintain that ground. Lucas started from pole position, and he's got to be frustrated with how this race has gone for him so far.
Yeah, that white and cherry colored machine against the white and seafoam colored machine doing battle still. They are not giving this up at all. This is fantastic driving. And they're still there. Okay, McKinney tucks back in. Gonna try to think of something else, but Adrian Lucas really under pressure, and there are more and more trucks lining up.
Ty Marasco cruising down the inside as Lukens and McKinney will maintain that ground. Lucas will continue to hold on for the 11th place spot. Try as he may. No one able to get around him yet. Oh, and contact up at the front. Austin McGill off the door of Browder.
Coming out of turn 4, everybody trying to get a good run out to the outside wall, as much speed as possible without scraping any of the paint off. Need some big moves from Browder, and McGill really has got the pace down. Everybody running about 1 second, maybe 1.1 seconds slower than their best times of the day before the cautions came out and everybody got to get fresh rubber. They were running about 2 to 2.25 seconds slower. So we're kind of about halfway to the point at which we got to change tires earlier on. I was just trying to find that rhythm. They're not looking for the fastest lap of the race. They're just looking to try and run that same perfect lap multiple times around. Again, trying not to destroy those tires, but it's so tricky when you're battling. You want to have all the grip in the world. You want to just get up to the inside, get up where you wanted to be. Oh my goodness, and there's Triplet into the wall, getting collected by McGill.
And this could bring the next yellow flag out. Doesn't look like it will. Here comes the rest of the pack quickly flying up on Triplet. And Triplet's going to be forced into pit road. And he clearly has some more wheel damage, and now he's going to bring to a stop. Now the caution flag will have to fly as Triplet struggling to maintain that car going in one direction. Tough wreck coming out of turn numbers 3 and 4 to bring out the second yellow of the night, or third yellow now of the night. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a lot. And then, of course, trying to go in, you can see all the damage there. But the right front is kind of towing out just a little bit. So as we turn into the left-hand corner, the right front's still going to be turning to the right. And they're basically not cross-eyed, but the opposite. Both of them are towing out. And the 74 hitting the wall for a second time. It's also one of those tricky ones, Nolan, where as you add speed, the truck becomes unpredictable. There's now a handful of drivers coming in. The leader's coming in. It's like almost everybody down for service. Io Van Common is going to be staying out alongside Nicholas Caressel. So the 40 and 14 will be up at the front. Obviously, meatball flag for Wesley Triplett in the 74. One of the drivers looking on for a podium potentially. This looks like some issues for Jaden Gargiulo at the back. So it's Ryan Dees, who looks like they may be taking... I'm trying to see if that's fuel or 2 tires. I think that Dees might have just taken fuel, potentially. So if that's the case, a big call for the 17 at a track where grip is at a premium, to say the least. And so it would be Caressel and Van Common on those 20-odd lap old tires. Caressel more like 30 lap old tires. Ryan Dees in third in the 17. Jaden Hopp. Then it's Lacey, Foster, Thorpe Jr., Browder, McGill, and Sathmary. Paul Sathmary up into the 10th position in that 24.
Field will get set to roll on out as we will once again be 1 to green. Fuel only for D's, for Foster, for Sathmary, 2 tires for Dustin Ping, everyone else taking 4. Caressel, Van Command will both stay out. So, another interesting restart coming out. This one will restart us just shy of halfway, as we will come back into turn numbers 3 and 4. Nicholas Caressel will work his way 2, 3, and 4, and the green flag will be back in the air. Well, the 40 is able to get clear, and already we're going 4 wide into turn number 1 as Hayo Van Command quickly dropping down the field. And as quickly as the 14 dropped out, expect the same to happen to Caressel here in 3 and 4.
Thorpe Jr. not on the best line as Jaden Hopp trying to stay down low. Fresh tires. Lacey also looking very good. Able to clear the 40 as well. Plenty of margin being left. But these drivers, oh my goodness. Meanwhile, in the back, Bogaski around. Aideen Lucas as well, and Gargiulo.
Brandon Edgington will get caught up in that mess as well. You saw them all trying to lock it down. It just wasn't, there was nothing doing back there. Try as they may, it was no dice. Take a look back and see what brings out our 4th yellow of the night.
Already kind of a tense moment. That is pretty much 4 wide. Well, yeah, McKinney just down low, gets into the left rear quarter panel, and then just up ahead, Aideen Lucas trying to hang on to it, stays out of the wall. Williams trying to make a bit of space for themselves. Oh, and then Gargiulo, probably one of the biggest hits. 25 into the perfectly perpendicular 44.
So what ended up happening here, watch as Kevin Foster is going to go up to the wall. Foster gets loose, and that pins Lucas between Bogaski and the 8. That's what spins the 44 around. Sathmary catches a piece, and there is the 19 slided in, who had nowhere to go. So the yellow flag back in the air.
So we give Nicholas Caressel a chance to get off those 30-lap old worn tires. will be good for the 40, but leading us away. But Hop right back to the point, and Lacey looking very, very good. Much easier for Lacey to get around the 40 than Hop, who kind of had to do a bit of the heavy lifting. So in terms of that, I think that Jaden Hop, that might have been one of the best looks that Lacey got. I'll be interested to see what the 7 has for the 00 on this restart. Jaden Hop seems to have a little bit more pace across maybe like a 5 or 6 lap run. But on one of the long runs, I'm curious to see if that 00 is able to hang on to the tires in the clean air. I think Lacey may have a little bit extra as well. They're just both trying to get to the end of the sharp end, and once we're running with about 15 to go, I think that Lacey may turn over a new card.
So we will have now under half of this race left. We'll restart with under 75 to go. First race of the chase, continuing to be an interesting one, because while, yes, we're on our 4th caution, it has almost none of the yellows have actually involved any of our chase contenders. It's all been most of the drivers on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think that the mentality is probably a little bit different. Of course, there are also incidents, as we saw, right, with the incident with Bogaski and a couple of the other drivers, that sometimes it just kind of happens to you. Even if you're running your race and somebody else makes a mistake, it can, of course, collect you. We see that all the time in many, many different series. So I think that just trying to stay out of other people's accidents is part of the trick to having a good run. Michael Thorpe Jr., the driver furthest up in the chase.
Green flag back in the air as we once again send the pack of now 18 trucks strong into turn numbers 1 and 2. 4 wide again out of the 1 and 2. Lucas clears around the outside. Several drivers jockeying for position as we drive her deep into 3 and 4, and Hop is clear and running away.
Brian D's having a pretty tricky time on the high side, and again, part of that 4 wide, and unfortunately the person at the high side kind of has to back out if they want to all make it through. Of course, anybody on the low side wants to back out is free to do so. 2 drivers not backing down. Jaden Browder, Michael Thorpe Jr. for 3rd position. McGill sitting there trying to see what is going to be transpiring, as they're also catching Lacey.
Yeah, Benjamin Lacey, sharp end of the field, still running the number 2 spot. Michael Thorpe Jr., Jaden Browder, as well as Austin McGill. Hanging on. Oh, I think Thorpe got clipped entering turn number 1. Look at the 34, way up the racetrack for Golden Garden Autosport. He'll drop 2 spots, but keep it out of the fence.
Yeah, caught a little bit of the front end of that Tacoma, the number 5, and still doesn't look very comfortable. A big swab that's going to bring Browder right back to the bumper one more time. And just a single lap ago is where 34 Guardian Machine tried to do this move here and pull down low and almost went up in the wall. That was a very, very close one.
Thorpe will keep fending off Browder. Browder hunting for the inside. He'll drive it deep into turn number 3. Thorpe going to push up a lane, try to carry the momentum all the way around. Can he maintain the run? Oh, contact again between the 34 and the 5. Remember, Jaden Browder not contending for a championship here. Thorpe maintaining his momentum up top.
48 of Austin McGill able to get up in front, so they are currently the leading driver that's part of the chase. Now a bit of a swap back. Thorpe Jr. maybe trying to get up the inside. Browder tracks out. There's a decent amount of margin, and these two are providing some very good racing. 34 sends it way on up. There's a bit of space over and under for Browder, and they have swapped back around.
Browder's not done fighting yet, still trying to find something down in the bottom lane of the 34, struggling so much to make the inside work. Only realistically Jaden Hoff has been able to make the inside work right off of these restarts, and makes you wonder what Hoff has found that no one else seems to be able to get from that inside groove. I mean, Browder gets such good drive off of turn 2, he's just never able to capitalize on it in turn 3.
My best guess, and I am guessing, is that the 00 of Hop, oh my goodness, this is very close here. The 00 of Hop may be able to connection issues again for the 5.
That's not good. And again, you can't be racing a championship contender like that if you're going to have that kind of a technical issue. Got to get that figured out. 3 wide, deeper in the field. Edgington looking to go around the outside of Brian Dees. Bogaski, after being turned earlier today, he's down the inside. Edgington will clear them both, and both drivers, after being caught up in our latest caution, get around Dees for 13th and 14th respectively.
Yeah, Brian Dees electing to not get fresh tires last time around, so the 17 having a very tricky time just keeping it on the track. Kind of staying out of trouble a little bit. I say that we caught him currently in earlier on just getting into 3 wide, but trying to run their race, do what they can on this very decidedly alternate strategy. And Caden Gargiulo, the next driver in behind as the 17 tries to hang on to it.
Justin Ping will hold on as Sean Williams maintains advantage at the sharp end of the field. Justin Ping right behind. Ping down to the bottom side of Nicholas Caressel. Caressel will head back up top. No joy for the driver of the number 40. He'll top back in line behind the old school racers, number 89. There's Adrian Lucas, your pole sitter from earlier tonight. Starting to slowly claw back some of that ground, but not nearly enough to be in a race-winning position by the end of this one.
Yeah, no, able to get by Caleb McKinney, which was very, very tricky for either driver to get more than a couple of feet away from each other in the last stint. 69 to 76, almost glued together earlier on. And now it looks like AD Lucas may have a little bit extra at the moment, but again, the 76, McKinney trying to wind it up, a bit of a wider line, looking for a better exit. Gonna be gaining all the way down this straightaway. What does turn 1 look like? Not gonna be able to make a move. That 76 is on the way yet again. We may be up for round, what is this, round 3, round 4?
Round 1. The cutoff round was just last week.
Well, I'm thinking in terms of the boxing rounds that these two have gone through.
Who knows at this point? Oh, we might get another one there as McKinney dings off the left rear corner panel of the Clean Harbors 69. Lucas able to catch it, but McKinney showing he's not afraid to get the elbows out. Jaden Browder, again, it has stabilized, and he's going to look to the inside line, or to the outside line. There's Michael Thorpe Jr. now, still hanging on up top, but Browder not giving up as he tries to chase down 4th. Caution is out for the 5th time tonight.
I think there was a bump between the 5. Oh, it's Dustin Ping. Again, it has not been the 81's evening. And my goodness, this is just going from bad to worse. Running really good lap times, but just trying to find the groove, and the consistency doesn't seem to be there. On the high side of Ty Marasco.
Well, did that to himself.
Oh, and loses it out of 2.
Marasco does catch him, but only after Ping was going around. Let's be honest, truck was going around no matter what he did. There was no stopping that, as he's going to go up and into the outside wall and grind to a halt on the top side of the racetrack. Coming up on Green Flag TV over the next several days, as we again have more drivers making their way into pit road. You got yourself the Silver Fox Race, the Late Model Stock Championship. Final race of the season coming in at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. David Jakes looking to take this one away from Frank Hughes Jr. PSR action will be back at the Chicagoland Speedway alongside the Beer League. The NASCAR Castable Glass Company Series will be racing at Bristol alongside the Highline Diecast Speed Cup Series. And the Bracket Challenge semifinals at Daytona, the National Speedway. And while Blazing Pedals is back for more on Sunday alongside the Moto2 Racing Team's Championship, the real highlight of the week, the VSCA Sports Car Championship. It's the final race of the Sprint Cup with the Patty Engineering Battle at the Brickyard. That will be at Indianapolis for a 2-hour and 40-minute stint. That will be on Saturday.
There's a lot of racing coming up, some pretty exciting stuff. We have a season finale tomorrow night. It'll sound a whole lot like this. And again, the final 2-hour, 40-minute run at the Indy Road Course on Saturday. That's going to be some pretty good stuff. And again, as always, the charm of the Beer League. Where are we going? No clue. But you'll have to tune in on Wednesday at 9:15 to check that out. I always love, again, just the amount of different types of racing that are available on Green Flag TV. It's just so cool.
One lap to go. It'll be 56 laps when we take to the start-finish line. As we're ready to go at it once again. Lacey, McGill, Thorpe, and Lucas ready to go at it. As we get set to take this one away. Top 6 did not come down pit road, and out of those that did, 7th through 12th did not take tires. Green flag is back in the air as it's going to be a mad dash in a 1 and 2. Again, 4 wide, just about as they head to the back straightaway. No troubles yet. Everyone's being very well behaved off of this restart.
Robert Lukens on the outside of a potential 3 wide. 33 trying to find a little bit of, I was going to say grip, more just kind of trying to find the groove, and moves over in front of Browder. No issues that we could see from this very well-placed camera. And Browder now trying to go down the inside as the 00 gets into the side of our previous pole sitter. Jaden Hobb leading a handful of laps right on the inside of A.D. Lucas as they all pile through. Still 3 wide, a couple of cars back. And that's Brian Dees again in the middle of Ty Marasco and Gargiulo for the 2nd time at least.
Still 3 wide. Marasco with a shot to the shorts from the rear coming into turn numbers 1 and 2 as Brian Dees able to slip over the inside. Oh, banging doors from the rear. And 4 wide again down the back straightaway. Could get dicey here into turn number 3. Bogaski and Caressel bail out from the inside. Bogaski reasserts a challenge as he gets alongside Ty Marasco.
No one tell me that NASCAR tracks don't have 4 corners. You saw the first corner there, the second corner shortly after. The 44 drove it really hard into 3, composed themselves, and then basically beat Marasco out of turn 4. Really good stuff from the W Racing 44. And is now going to try to have a look at the inside of Williams. And Bogaski really trying to make some ground on that low side.
Up front, Brian Dees making moves back towards the point as he's got A.D. and Lucas hot on his heels. Jaden Hobb and Michael Thorpe Jr. will continue the battle for 3rd and 4th. Hobb back down to the inside as he tries to slip up from the inside groove. Thorpe maintaining ground, and Benjamin Lacey looking at challenges. They'll take over the lead. Thorpe scrambles all the way to the inside.
34 able to get back in line, and thankfully for them, Brian Dees up the inside of Jaden Browder, and he's going to be up the inside of the 34 as well. But the fact that they were battling meant that Browder wasn't able to really challenge the 34 despite being well to the inside of the track. 17 trying to hang on down low, looks much more composed and making up a good amount of ground. It's still only a second. Jaden Hopp up to Benjamin Lacey, Austin McGill splitting them in second at the moment.
"50 laps to go, officially into the final third of this race tonight, as Bogaski and Lucas will maintain the run for 8th and 9th. And Bogaski's number 44, Lucas is number 69. They will continue to keep the gaps going. Right behind them, Kevin Foster and Brandon Edgington. Oh boy, as Edgington pushes up the racetrack.
You're looking for 13th, and Kevin Foster kind of leaving a bit of space on the outside, potentially the Tacoma number 19 Red Bull machine trying to have a look. Best opportunity here maybe to try to cross over, a little too high up. That's going to lose a good amount of time out of 4. That's not looking the best for the 19.
And Marasco still trying to hold on to the bottom groove, but as he slips up from the inside, I think all that damage from earlier. Oh, and look at Hyman, come on, going to get turned into the outside wall. Carresso goes with them, and the yellow is out again.
Seen a similar issue with McGill getting into the side of Wesley Triplett earlier on, or I guess the other way around, but still kind of a similar issue, getting shot into the wall. Not quite as hard as what happened to Triplett, so probably won't be a night ender. But still something that you do not want to see, kind of getting pinned, trapped against the wall by another car.
Benjamin Lacey will maintain his advantage up on the high side, and yet again, we kind of saw this one went down pretty easily. Just another case of Hayav in command just squeezing up Nicholas Caressel into the outside wall. You take another look at this one at speed. Now, whether or not Caressel had the nose in there enough, that's debatable, but, I mean, hey, the 14 did get turned at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think we were looking at a gap on the outside of the 14, and I guess it was there for a while, but didn't look like there were going to be any takers, and so the 14 probably trying to move back over to the wall, get a little bit of a better draft down this back straight. And the 40 was able to get enough of the machine that it was not a door that was physically closable. Driver's still pretty well behaved, though, I will say, obviously coming toward the back third. Drivers are giving us about as much as they were earlier on. Seen some pretty good moves. We've seen some 4 wide, and to my memory, we've not had any incidents that have resulted from those 4 wide moves. And I mean, we've had at least 2 laps in a row that have been 4 wide.
Lacey and McGill will run 1 and 2 as we will once again look to get this race back underway. The green flag runs, James, are getting shorter and shorter as we continue to progress deeper and deeper into this race, and this cautions, precautions style of running might be what we need to get used to from here to the end of this one.
Well, yeah, last time out at Richmond, it turned into, it seemed like it was almost exponential. You know, we went half as long as the last run multiple times over. And I would be surprised if it turns that way at this one, but it does seem like, obviously, the driver's going for it right at the end. And again, the chase has begun, so drivers like McGill, drivers like Michael Thorpe, they really want to have the best run possible. Looks like we're going to get another lap of pacing.
Yeah, evidently somebody was not caught up with the tail end of the field, hence why we're going to slow it back down. By the way, out of the 18 still on the racetrack, 17 are on the lead lap. Paul Satmary is 6 laps down. Ping, Triplett, and Peebles all in the garage for the time being. Meaning there will now be 43 to go when we go back green.
Biggest mover so far, and I also think the largest change in pace and change in the way that they've been attacking this racetrack is Austin McGill, the driver on the inside at the front of this race, up 16 spots. But more crucially, Austin McGill was well up the order a little earlier on and was falling back due to kind of the way that they were going at the cars around them, or the trucks around them. I think the Austin McGill is one to watch.
Try to get some laps in this. Okay, we're not going to get any laps in this time. Browder already going around off the nose of Brian Dees. How about that for a save? As Browder slips up from the inside groove, able to tuck back in line up top. Great run from the driver, the number 5.
Yeah, very, very close, and will not be happy about that. They might be appreciative of Lukens giving him a bit of a shove in the backside. As Aideen Lucas now gets around the 33. To the high side goes the 5. To the outside, rather. And it's going to try, yep, one more time. Going to try and get a good run. But that could have been disaster for more drivers than the 5. And that's simply just trying to kind of back out of it, get it under control, and live to fight another day.
42 laps left to go. Benjamin Lacey going to clear up to the high side of the racetrack. It'll be now 41 left as McGill holding on to the number 2 spot. Thorpe sailing into turn 1 as he tries to fend off Jaden Hopp from the rear.
Yeah, I was almost thinking that the 34 was going to try and have a look at Austin McGill. Again, just trying to stay down low. Can't quite get to the bumper. Not looking to clear anybody out. Just looking to see what may be working for the 34. Jaden Hopp still waiting. And now tries to break down low. Probably won't get it done this time around, but may get to the door on exit. They're nose and nose, neck and neck. A little bit squirrely. Oh, and the 00 almost getting into the left rear quarter panel.
Almost, but not quite. They will continue to hold on as we will work our way into turn numbers 3 and 4. Bogaski, Dees, Gargiulo running 5th through 7th. Jaden Hopp just up the row. Right now, Brian Dees, the first driver outside of the chase contenders in the hunt. And being a thorn in Gargiulo's side as he tries to chase after Bogaski. Gargiulo going to take that one down low.
Yeah, both of these drivers, Dees and Gargiulo, really having a pretty stressful day. They're leaning on each other just a little bit. The 25 trying to get a piece of the action. You see these 3 drivers who have been, they've made an impact on the race in each of their own ways. Is a little bit squirrely from Brian Dees. The championship hopeful just in behind is Caden Gargiulo trying to go high side. He's going to stick the nose of the Tacoma around the outside. Able to clear is the 17. No dice. Ooh, a bit of a shot into the side of the 17. Gargiulo able to get down low. Going to get a little bit of a tow from Bogaski up in front. No, they're not going to be able to get anything there. Brian Dees really showing their muscle. A little bit of a shot there from the Tacoma into the rear of the Silverado. Gargiulo kind of getting backed up here into the number 5 of Jaden Browder. This trio really starting to try and make a move as soon as possible with only 36 to go.
entering the final stages of racing action this afternoon on what has so far been a wild afternoon of racing as well. Looking like the field has finally settled back into a rhythm as well, so we can get some green flag laps in after a pretty significant rash of cautions right around the midway point. And Bogaski continuing to chase after Michael Thorpe Jr. Thorpe slides up to the inside nearly to the wall, and Bogaski thought he could have an opening down the bottom.
Bogaski looking quite good, coming back very strongly at the end of this race. Interested to see what the dummy number 44 has for the 34. Michael Thorpe Jr. has probably been tested more than any other driver in the field, I would say, considering how many different drivers have been up next to them for lap after lap. Thorpe Jr., one of the drivers up at the front, but has another championship hopeful right in the rears. Check that. They're going to be trying to go around the outside. Trying to line it up, get a good look into one. What does Bogaski do? They stay tucked.
Not for long, as there's the move to the bottom lane, but it's not been a move that has worked for so much of the race, as Thorpe will continue to cling on to fourth. Bogaski's still struggling to get a run going down that inside. Try as he may, I just haven't seen him be able to mount a convincing charge.
Yeah, and it's also really tricky because we're so late into the race, and so a lot of drivers have gotten to see, even if they didn't really think about a certain type of move, it's potentially down the inside. Thorpe Jr. too good on the throttle, as we kind of have a little bit of a moment on board the number 44. A lot of drivers have gotten to see some of the aces that have been up the sleeves of their competitors. So I think that it's getting trickier and trickier to surprise anybody at this point.
Right behind them, Kayla McKinney, Caden Gargiulo. Battle for seventh is on. As, Bogaski again loose up the road. How about Brian Dees? Can Dees finally break up the charge? Puts Bogaski on notice. Contact, muscles Bogaski up. Right as Gargiulo and McKinney catch up to the two of them.
That may give Thorpe Jr. a bit of some breathing space. And look at the inside line. It's absolutely nothing. The 76 of McKinney getting basically bogged down behind Brian Dees. They're now side by side. I cannot imagine there's any space between them. They come out of the final corner. A big moment for Gargiulo, big moment for Bogaski. Everybody's having some trouble here right at the end.
A lot of drivers struggling. This is just what we saw during our first long green flag run. Was after so long, the lap time is going to continue to drop more or increase more and more. And these trucks going to slide around a bit more as well. Browner striking the wall with how aggressive an entry he was trying to take down in the turn one. Right behind them, Robert Lukens going to try to fend off an attack from Ty Marasco.
Ty Marasco still trying to have a look. Those two red, white, and blue machines battling for 14th. Looking up towards the front, the fourth place 44. Brandon Bogaski just barely clearing Michael Thorpe Jr. And now straight to the bottom. Gargiulo up the inside. Thorpe Jr. has been pretty strong on the high side in defense. I think that 34 will be able to clear. No, they won't. They'll be spun around by Gargiulo.
Thorpe going around tail of the field. Caution is out again. 28 laps to go. And we'll once again jump back to the replay and show you what brings our next caution of the day out. Gargiulo was tracking up from the inside and ended up just coming down to the 25, it looked like, from that angle.
Yeah, it looked fairly even Stevens from left to right, and it looked like Thorpe was trying to get a little more aggressive, trying to pinch a little more actively, and basically dissuade the driver on the inside. And Gargiulo didn't seem to really track up too much. I was looking for a bit of a surge or looking for the rear of the truck to kind of squat a bit under acceleration, or at least, you know, trying to get out of the corner a bit sooner than normal. As now Lacey and company come down, the top three at least, down pit road. Bogaski and McKinney are staying out.
So more drivers will make their way into the box. And we are going to continue to see this race draw to its inevitable conclusion. Once again, you're watching the High Tide Racing League Premier Series on Green Flag TV. Pit stops are underway. We'll restart with under 25 to go.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Race in action set to continue once more with 24 laps on the cards. My name is Ola Ramble alongside James Newton, bringing you all the action from start to finish of this beautiful afternoon. As we are ready to do it all over again, James. No end in sight to the action tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we are about to get going in just a bit, the 40 of Nicholas Caressel along with Bogaski and McKinney opting to stay out. We're going to get one more lap, I believe, under pace truck. Nicholas Caressel came in 33 laps ago and now ticking over to 34 laps on those tires, and did not take tires last time, so fuel only for the 40. Honestly, I can't tell you how many laps that 40 has had on that same set. So I expect the Sour Patch Kids machine to be moving to the... probably not moving forward is what I'm not expecting.
I would have to agree. I think Bogaski is going to drop back pretty quickly. Caressa will drop back pretty quickly. Caleb McKinney is going to drop back quickly as well. Everybody that came down did take a set of 4 good years. So safe to say some driver is going to be in trouble in this restart, and they are just gambling that this race will be stop, start all the way to the end of the race from here. Coming around turn numbers 3 and 4, we will get set to try and do this all over again. It'll be in the hands of Brandon Bogaski as we will come around into the final couple of corners. Green flags in the air, 23 to go. McKinney spins the tires immediately off the jump. Oh, and around, gonna go Marasco in the back. Wipes out a couple, Forbes hard into the outside wall. Van Kamen, Satmary, Lukens, all collected as well.
Oh, a second shot from Ty Marasco into the 24. Paul Sathmary, basically almost a head-on collision as they're trying to pick up the pieces of that multi-car accident. That was quite something. And again, Thorpe Jr., I'm not sure how much damage they may have picked up, but obviously spinning and facing the wrong way. So Bogaski gets a really late jump, so all the cars are lurching forward, including the 33 of Robert Lukens, and that's what gets them into the back of the 76. That's why the outside line got such a bad run. Oh, and then there we go, Ty Marasco just up into everybody, making contact with the 19.
And it looked like the 24 and the 14 may have had a small piece of contact in there as well, as there's Marasco. He's trying to just pick his way through. He's trying to dodge the 14. I think he spun the tires up as well a little bit there to kind of kick that whole thing off in of his own right. But watch the ones. He's just going to go down the racetrack and just chops the nose of Edgington.
Yeah, that's the risk of those drivers on the outside. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just running the high side, trying to wait till they can get on the gas as soon as possible, and just hoping that nobody washes into them, which is exactly what happens. We saw Benjamin Lacey with a similar move to what Michael Thorpe Jr. is doing here, where Thorpe's just trying to hang around the outside, 2 wide, 2.5 wide. And Lacey able to get the lead with that move many laps ago. But that's the risky run going to the high side. Sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you're just an innocent bystander.
Well, Brandon Bogaski will still be out in front. Now, he and Caleb McKinney will both, again, still are going to get swarmed on the start. But, hey, this is at least 4 or 5 more laps now. They're not going to have to worry about having to fend the field off. So far, their strategy is working.
Yeah, definitely. And another one of the things to think about is the heat cycles for these tires. Obviously, old tires are not as fast as new tires. Everybody knows that because the rubber gets worn down. It's less effective as the adhesion goes away. And especially at a track like New Hampshire, it's so flat that you really want to have all the grip possible. It really makes a big difference, as we've seen throughout this race. The other trick is hot tires versus cold tires. Everyone's going to effectively be on kind of cold tires if we continue to stop-start this way. So the difference in tire life is going to become less and less important over the first 5-6 laps of the run, maybe 4 or 5 laps of the run. Once we get 4 or 5 laps under our belt, the tires kind of come into a better window. That's when the likes of Lacey, McGill, Hop, and Gargiulo are going to be able to really eat into Bogaski and McKinney's tires. But if we keep start-stopping, as again we get another pace lap, it's really going to go toward Bogaski and McKinney in terms of just having the track position.
"18 laps will be when we return to the green flag. Top 3 rows as they run. Bogaski and McKinney, who have not yet pitted since 39 and 27 laps ago. Then Lacey and McGill on fresh tires. Then Hop and Gargiulo on fresh tires. So still a good bit of distance is left, as well as opportunities for this race to go either way.
What are you thinking, Nolan? Are you thinking that we're going to get any more yellows, or do you think that might be it?
I hate to say it. I think we're getting more.
That's a good answer. That's a really good answer.
I think, yeah, we're going to be getting more. We are not done yet. Count that one out. It's a championship race. It's a championship chase race at New Hampshire. Of course, we're not done. Green flag is in the air. We'll try it again. Looking for 3. Bogaski gets clear early into turn 1. McKinney drops out from the number 1 spot. Benjamin Lacey trying to see if he can mount the charge for the lead now. Just like that, he is through. Lacey down to the bottom lane. McKinney still trying to fight this one out in the middle. Give Bogaski some credit for being on about 30 and 40 lap older tires. He is giving it what for right now, around the outside of Lacey as he tries to hold on to his lead.
Oh, Gargiulo, there was no contact. The 76 goes around. Caleb McKinney is going to fall to the very back. That's going to be another caution.
What did I tell you? We weren't done. And I think we're still not done, by the way. Even after that, we're still not done.
Well, that was so tricky. And I kept seeing Austin McGill in the 48. You're seeing at the bottom of your screen now. That Rockstar machine was on the inside of a 3 wide down the start-finish straight. And they were thinking, please track out. Please give me more space. I want to get to the wall. And I think they realized they were 3 wide and kind of went, all right, let me settle in and get a good run into 1 and 2. But for a moment, I was thinking, as he gets to the high side, so Gargiulo's going to get really close, but there's no contact. We're just trying to stay, well, maybe on board. There was a bit of a shimmy. I wonder if there might have been a little bit of contact. But either way, Caleb McKinney just trying not to basically kind of track out into the truck on the high side.
he had some
it's
help.
from the rear. It's aiding Lucas.
Yeah, I think they checked up, and then Lucas caught him on the back end.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It's worth noting the next race up is not going to be any easier on the field. It's Darlington next week. If ever you're going to have some hurt feelings after today, Darlington's quite a place to be running to next.
Yeah, it is quite the tricky track. There aren't a lot of easy tracks when it comes to this truck series. iTide does not have very many, easy Mario Kart 3-lap runs. It's very, very tricky stuff. And again, the field is just so tough. The field is really, really talented. There's a lot of drivers. We've seen 3 wide. From sitting in the comms booth up here, it seemed like we've gone 3 wide, no problem. It's just drivers trying to figure out where they want to be. It's kind of a high-speed chess match. We've seen 4 wide, and we've still gotten through a majority of those. Obviously, incidents are coming thick and fast here at the end as drivers know that a big move forward or backward may solidify kind of, the last couple spots that they might get it all here at New Hampshire. Having a look at Jaden Hopp on the outside, trying to follow with Austin McGill. I'm curious what that 00 is going to try to do. Maybe a Benjamin Lacey around the outside as long as nobody clears him out.
Well, 13 laps to go. If that is not some kind of an omen, I don't know what is. As we will look to make our way around 3 and 4. Green flag coming back out this time by We Are Racing. Once again, question now is, for how long? Not long is going to be the answer, as around going to go Satmary at the back end. Catch it, still chasing it. He's going to go fully around, but he's at the back of the field. Should be able to get away with that as long as he can get it in gear and get it rolling, and I think he'll do just that. So we are still underway, and Lacey with the lead.
Bogaski down low, able to slide back in behind Foster, but the 44 really starting to feel the pain as they're sliding way up into the front of Gargiulo again, just from those really worn tires. And trying to come back at the 25, but it just looks like all the drivers kind of lining up on the outside and able to get to the door on the high side of the 44. And it's just not looking good on those old boots. Looks like McGill for the lead. Austin McGill down the inside, bumping.
He's trying for it. Giving him what for? Jaden Hobb trying to follow through as well. Austin McGill with 1 win under his belt at this venue. Looking for 10 laps to go. McGill sweeps up. There goes Lacey. Lacey Diamonds back to the inside. Trying to challenge back as they come out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Jaden Hobb also waiting in the wings. He would love to get another effort here on the day. Lacey again drifts up, pushes up battle lane. McGill trying to follow through, but Lacey cuts him off.
Jaden Hopp not able to get the nose of the Tacoma up the inside. It's so close now down to the inside. Gonna roll so much speed, but doesn't send it way up. Backs off mid-corner. I think that's what the 00 has been doing all day long. Doesn't get the run to overtake, but keeps that crucial inside position. Gonna duck back in. Aiding Lucas now joining the party. The 69 resurgent in the late stages.
Yes, sir. He's trying to make a run at it as still have a long way to go. Lot can happen in 8.5 laps down into turn numbers 3 and 4. Lacey still out in front. Austin McGill second. These drivers trying to keep Jaden Hopp from taking his 8th win of the season because they know it is critical to strike hard and strike fast while Hopp is vulnerable for the points lead.
Aideen Lucas able to get around the 0-0 1 lap, excuse me, 3/4 of a lap later. They're now behind Browder. 0-0 with a pretty good gap. The number 5 trying to chase him down for that top 3 spot, but the top 3 I don't think are done. Austin McGill holding the fastest lap of the race, but is going to need some seriously fast laps as they're all clattering into the wall, kind of following each other into mistakes. They're also running right now some of the fastest laps of the race, 30.7, 30.8, only a couple tenths off of the best of the day. They are really going for it.
Jaden Browder also looking to hunt for a podium still. So overall, I mean, like we said before, the racing has been nothing short of spectacular from start to finish. And we're getting set up for quite a wild finish as well. Lacey still maintaining his run up at the top of the boards, a little bit of side-by-side. Deeper in the field as Caressel takes the inside away from Brandon Edgington.
Yeah, the battle right now for the top 10, the 40 and the 19 swapping spots, and the 19 not quite into the wall. Williams lurking in behind. Nicholas Caressel with those ancient tires earlier on. Now on some nice fresh ones, some of the freshest in the field. Catch up with the podium fight. Nothing for Browder to do down the inside. Is that going to compromise his entry? What is Jaden Hopp going to do down low? Browder's on their way. Oh no, excellent exit for the 0-0. Wow.
Oh, Jaden Hopp's been running that line really good all night long. Jaden Hopp now looking to the inside of Austin McGill, and I think Hopp's chance on going for a win, unless he gets another caution in the final 4 laps here, might just be toast. Lacey still holding on at the sharp end as the Canadian of Austin McGill doing everything he can to fight off the Arizona native right behind him. Lacey trying to become the 3rd different winner of the High Tide Racing League at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Hopp again sending her in as they come out of turn numbers 3 and 4. 3 laps to go, this time by.
Drivers really are giving it everything. It really looks like Benjamin Lacey has done everything they needed to do. And the 7 really looks very strong at this stage. Top 3 look really strong at this stage. Nobody really able to make inroads.
And there's the caution. The caution that Hopp needed to stay in the fight for the win is out. And it's Thorpe and Marasco, both tangled up at the tail end, 2 chase contenders.
We are not done yet.
Drama's kicking off here as, take a look, this is Heil Van Command right behind Ty Marasco. Michael Thorpe Jr. up in front. And again, Marasco kind of did that to himself, was mirror driver the 14, blocked at the last second, and then got sent right into the 34.
Yeah, on a road course style, it would be kind of moving under braking, which is something when a driver kind of commits. That's going to be when they're not really able to change. So the Ford's going to dive to the inside. They've committed to that line.
You can't expect Heil Van Command to be able to react to something that quickly.
Yeah, that is the absolute textbook definition of moving under. Oh, and again has a bit of a aftershock there. So we're going low, then they go high, we go down low.
See, here's the thing. That wasn't even a case of moving under braking. They were all still on the throttle. Marasco just turned himself because Heil hit the nose just barely in there at the time. I think Marasco's just getting frustrated how this race has gone, and he let his feelings boil over.
Certainly hasn't gone their way for the one. That DQ red, white, and blue machine currently running in 15th position. What that means up at the front, it means we're going to line them all back up, and it's going to be Lacey and McGill side by side. I'm interested to see when Lacey goes. It's very easy with the softer suspension on these trucks. You'll see the rear end squat down the same way that it basically the front end dives into 1 and 3, then the rear end squats down on restarts and on corner exit. So I'll be interested to see when the 7 decides to go. A couple of restarts ago, we saw the driver at the front that basically went right at the last second. I think it was the 44 Bogaski, who waited right till the very end of the restart zone. So not sure when Lacey will go. I bet you Lacey will go as soon as possible. I think Lacey's going to get the jump as early as they can.
Coming around 3 and 4. 2 laps the distance. Benjamin Lacey still out in front. Jaden Haupt now with the chance to capitalize. Green flag back in the air as we race it back down into the turn numbers 1 and 2. Lacey gets clear. McGill gets clear. Haupt and everyone else trying to follow suit. 3 wide down the back straightaway.
What does Haupt do about Browder? Browder's on the way. They're coming around the outside. Lacey's not clear at all, courtesy of the fact that it's a restart. Sends it way into 3. McGill won't get to the inside. Tracks out. Browder around Haupt for 3rd.
Gets around him, still with some distance left to go. 1 lap left to go here at the Magic Mile. Everyone trying to scramble whatever spots they can muster. McGill trying to go for win number 2. Lacey trying to take us first here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Into 3 and 4. Does McGill give him the bumper? Out of 4 this time through. McGill's not going to get to the back end. Around, going to go Browder at the back. Then crash, and it's going to be Benjamin Lacey with the win.
It's a close call as Foster reverses it across the line. Wow, wow, wow.
Quite the journey that the field was on this season. 3rd win of the season for Benjamin Lacey.
Yeah, really good stuff from the 7. As you can see, all the congratulations, drivers slowing on down. Williams with a little bit of a bump as well. McKinney coming to say, hey, Jaden Haupt doing a little bit of a wiggle. And that Ram number 7 really put on quite a good show. Didn't look like it was going to go Lacey's way for the longest time. Really kind of a reserved first half of the session. But that big power move around the outside and 1 on that restart was really what kind of solidified Lacey as one of the top contenders for this win. And again, just really well deserved.
And on top of that, a big moment coming around towards the checkered flag as Jaden Browder got turned at the tail end of the field and tried to get a look up. There is Browder, and it was Gargiulo pushing up from the inside to send him around right in the middle of the field. He got collected by Brian Dees. Kevin Foster got spun as well. Maraska went into the inside wall, and Foster just slammed the truck into reverse to back it up across the line.
That was very heads-up driving by the 8. Obviously, it wasn't enough to try and secure the position that they were going for. But very, very impressive stuff to kind of have the awareness, use the wall, and do what you can.
Coming home, number 1, it's Lacey for the 3rd time this season. Austin McGill finished in 2nd, and Jaden Haupt, not a good start to his championship attempt, as he'll be in 3rd. Gargiulo in 4th, Aiden Lucas in 5th, Caressel in 6th, Williams, Bogaski, Edgerton, and McKinney will round out the top 10.
11th is Lukens. 12th is Michael Thorpe Jr. Brian Dees coming home 13th. Ty Marasco in 14th. Jaden Browder finishing 15th after that spin at the end. Kevin Foster reversing to 16th. Io Van Common a single lap down. Paul Sathbury parking it after 21. Dustin Ping after 61. And we lost Wesley Triplett after 82. And Wesley Peebles 91 laps ago.
So that will be it then for the field here on the afternoon. What a way to close out the race this afternoon. Let's get a rundown and get a chat in here with the drivers that finished this race. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 here this afternoon. We'll start it off first and foremost with Benjamin Lacey coming home number 1 here on the day. And Ben, a pretty big outing for you here on the afternoon, as it's another win for you, 17th of your High Tide Racing League career. And what a way to kick off the championship hunt strong.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I've never really considered New Hampshire one of my favorite places to go to. But Jaden passed me earlier, and honestly, I got to give him a shout out because whatever line he was doing, I just tried to replicate that, and dang, that was a fast line. So thanks, Jaden, for being you, man. Honestly, but it was definitely not an easy race by any means. Austin was putting pressure on. Jaden was obviously going to be super fast, and I think we just had a little bit of luck with some strategy go our way and put us in a good position, and we were able to hold on to it. But what a start! I'll take it.
Well, talk us through the day, because it looked like it was going to be a relatively clean race, kicking things off, and then, well, it's suffice to say it evolved pretty quickly when we got past halfway. What was your takeaway from this one?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, after, what was it, around 70 or so, I think is where we had a caution around there. And I was thinking I was going to want to come in around lap 120-ish, give or take, plus or 5. And then we had another couple cautions in between that. And I kept wanting to come down and take tires at lap 90, and then again at lap 100. And then my teammate Kevin was just like, nope, not yet. And so props to him for keeping me in line and making sure, keeping me patient with that, because definitely wanted them tires after a while, man. It was getting pretty slick and slippery out there. So a lot of tire management, a lot of throttle control management, and yeah, just an overall pretty fun race to do. And yeah, toward the end of it, got a little bit of a caution thing, but that's just the nature of, I think, this track and the amount of laps we had left closing in, and the pressure that's on.
Darlington is only 1 week away. What's going to be the game plan when we go racing once again at the Lady in Black?
It's probably not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you get that stripe. So try to keep those to a minimum and keep the track position going and just put together more solid finishes.
Wish you the best of luck in race 2 in the chase for the Cup. Congratulations, Ben, on taking the first win out here, and we'll see you next time out.
I appreciate it, and everyone watching, you guys rock. Thank you so much for tuning in to the greatest broadcast for iRacing that's out there and probably on Earth. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you again to Benjamin Lacey. Coming home number 1 here on the day, Austin McGill right behind him, number 2. He is standing by with James Newton.
Well, Austin, you started on the 9th row of the grid for this one here at New Hampshire, and you ended up second in line. Jaden Hopp trying to chase you down right at the end, and it looked like a pretty tough first half of the race trying to make it up through the field, but once you were able to kind of settle in, it seemed like you were good to go. Talk us through this run.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself. The first half was a little bit of a struggle. I was like 8 seconds off the lead before the first yellow. I was just trying to figure out what line felt good, and I know some guys were shifting for the entire run, and it was giving them a little bit more of a boost coming off the corner. So I was trying that out, and then end of the race, I just tried to follow Lacey through. I said to myself I should have given him a little bit of a bump, but I wasn't quite close enough. But I'm more than happy with P2.
Well, right there at the end, it looked like you had plenty of tire along with everybody else. Kind of a yellow green to finish it off. But when it came to the strategy, was there any kind of offset that you were thinking about running? Was it basically plan A the whole day, or were you kind of trying to switch it up a bit?
Honestly, it was more just follow plan A. And then I was inside the top 5 with maybe like 50 to go. And I just said, I'm going to follow Lacey. If he stays out, I'll stay out. I saw Hop go in, so I was a little confused with what his strategy was, but I don't know if he would call that a win with his strategy, but sometimes I'm not great with strategy, so I try to follow another driver who I know is good coming towards the end of the race, so I think it paid off.
Certainly looked like it did. Next time out, we're going to be, the HTRL is going to be heading to Darlington. How are you feeling about the next time we visit the Lady in Black?
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing all the throwback schemes. Looking forward to racing there. I love Darlington. It's a great track. It's a tough track. Should be a lot of fun.
Anybody you'd like to shout out or thank?
Just shout out to the guys for coming out. I know sometimes in the playoffs, participation could drop a little bit, but we had a pretty good field tonight. Shout out to you guys up in the booth. I'm gonna watch this probably tomorrow evening. And yeah, appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Austin, on P2.
Thank you.
And with that, we will move swiftly on to the driver that finished in third place, the 0-0 of Jaden Hop. And Jaden, pretty tough stuff out there. Had to come from very, very far back. It looked like you were able to methodically pick your way through the field. And we also heard that a couple of the drivers were kind of having a look at your playbook, trying to figure out what line the 0-0 was running. Talk us through that run.
Ooh, it was definitely a race. Probably gonna have to, we might have to add some some locks to the playbook, but it was definitely a fun race. I probably shouldn't have pitted that one time with like 60 to go to get fuel. Ultimately, that ended up costing me a bit because I couldn't quite get back up to Austin and Ben and pass him again. But honestly, pretty fun race. Still not really a big fan of the track, but when you get a good group of guys like this, it makes on for a pretty good race nonetheless. So yeah, I'm happy with how that played out.
Yeah, definitely. You also had a handful of really big moments with Browder as the two Jadens were going right at it. And you really were kind of all over the track in a good way. It seemed like you had about 4 or 5 lines. How many lines would you guess that you were running, different, distinct lines into the corners?
To like the whole corner, I'd maybe say like 4 or 5 towards the end of the race. I figured out a couple before the race, and then we figured out some during it, watching other people and all that. And so we had like 5 different distinct lines, I'd say. Yeah, it was a lot of fun being able to make lines like that work. Usually you can't do that at a lot of tracks. So definitely very hard to pass, especially cleanly, but try to make it work as much as you can. Yeah. It was a fun one.
Next time out, we were heading to Darlington. How are you feeling about going to visit Lady in Black?
I really like Darlington. It's going to be a fun one. This track here in New Hampshire was my least favorite of the playoffs, and we're going all into tracks that I like a lot. Should be able to have a very good playoff run. Just try to survive, especially Bristol. But I think Darlington will go pretty well. I've had a pretty good run there. I don't think I've ever run trucks there, but I think with how much experience I have at Darlington before, I think it'll go well.
Well, we wish you the best of luck and congratulations on P3.
Thank you very much. I hope to talk to you guys again next week.
And that will be it then for our podium interviews here this afternoon. James, a wild way to kick off the chase for the Cup, and still a long way to go. Next week, we swing out to the track Too Tough to Tame. And what a run for race number 2 coming up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really exciting. If this was any kind of blueprint for what we might be seeing, some really, really good racing, a couple of incidents that were really crucial to some people's championships, both good and bad. And I think that these drivers have plenty more in store. I'm not going to want to miss the next one.
Plenty more action still yet to come on Green Flag TV over the next 3 days. It's the Silver Fox Race Late Model Stock Championship to bring their championship to a close at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. PSR's back from more Chicagoland, while Beer League just announced will be jumping back across the Pacific. They'll be racing at Fuji for the next race of their championship as well. Castle Glass Company Series will be back for more at Bristol alongside the Speed Cup Series at Daytona. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflag.tv. Once again, my name has been Nola Ramble alongside James Newton. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you once again when we go racing for round 2 of the Chase for the Cup at the Lady in Black.